Hello everyone and welcome to the fall event of 2025 in Forge of Empires. This is the main event page. Just to give a brief overview, the fall event has special items that you need in order to start a minigame called wooden spoons. You can earn these every 8 hours, so make sure that when you're logging off for the day or for the night, you have a few open slots that the wooden spoons can regenerate in. You can also earn wooden spoons by completing event quests on the side, just with all your other quests. There are special golden spoons that basically, once you activate it, you get a solid, I think it's 5 minutes to play as many mini games as you possibly can. I usually save those up until there are a rival challenge for the day, which I'm assuming is going to be every day, which is what they've been doing recently with every event. But let's try to do a quick mini game. So this should look familiar. We've had this type of game in the past. You're clicking on 2 or more like items. If it's 2, 3, or 4 items that are similar next to each other, they just disappear. If it is multiple items next to each other, like this, you can click on it and it produces a jar, and then that jar sometimes produces prizes. In this case, this is new. This year they have Mason marks. And what that does is, if we quickly go over to, I guess they're calling the baker's stall, and this is similar to what happened in the last event, they have a store where you can purchase prizes for this Mason mark. And basically this is where you get all the prizes. And this is open for the entirety of the event, including maybe a day or two after. This lists out new buildings, old buildings, it has ascended buildings, and then at the very bottom, there's the usual, you know, um, heroes and finished special productions, coins, supplies, forge points, stuff like that. So we're going to cover new buildings and all that stuff later. It does seem like every day you can get free Mason marks. So that just makes you log on every day just to get your free Mason marks. It looks like everything is pretty reasonable price. I've only just started today. Today is the first day of the event, and I already have 190, and I still have more games to play, through the end of today. And I can basically already buy most of the buildings and upgrades, which is good. Um, you can still win prizes through, grand prizes and stuff like that. The one thing I did notice was some of the prizes are locked behind certain conditions. So when you're playing the mini game, there's these little teapots or coffee cups, and the more coffee cups you gather, the further up in the grand prize rewards bar you go. But basically, the more coffee cups you get, I guess the more stuff you can unlock in the store. Um, all of this is kind of new. It doesn't seem too complex. It seems pretty straightforward. Um, but at least it's something new because, like I said, we've had this mechanic before. So as I mentioned, you're making similar items go next to each other. Uh, collect enough of them, and you start getting pretty good prizes. Um, Obviously, focus on coffee cups if you can, um, but effectively, you're kind of just playing this game through. The smaller jars can be forge points or units, stuff like that. I'll finish this level up later. Let's talk about prizes. So back in the baker stall, The new event building is called the Breeze Mill Homestead. It has 9 levels, as you can see here. It only gives attacking boost for Guild Expedition Attacking Army and defensive boost for Guild Battleground Defending Army. It gives some medals, gives a decent amount of forge points, some blueprints. Tranquil Bloom Selection Kit are the 2 new smaller buildings of the event, and then obviously fragments for the silver version, and then a random production of either goods from your age, goods from the previous age, or goods from the next age, which if you're in Space Age Space Hub is still just your age. The footprint is 6 by 5, so it takes up 30 squares, which is rather large. And it's going to make it very difficult for this to be efficient in your city. The silver version makes it a little bit better. Of course, everything increases, footprint's the same, and then for the golden upgrade, everything is increased again, and you also get a military room. I understand that they have this new mechanic of the rare, military heroes and stuff like that, but it's, for me at least, it's getting old. I was kind of hoping at this time they would have different types of people that we can get with different boosts, different types of rewards. It seems like every single person now is rare. You don't see any more common. You don't see any more uncommon. The epic version comes from the weekly thing that you do. It just kind of seems like it's played out, and I want something new. Anyway, so other than that, there's a few past event buildings. There's the Squirrel Hall, which I believe was last year. Silver, golden upgrades for that. So I would recommend, if you don't have the golden upgrade and it's still in your city, at least get the golden upgrade for that. There's the Autumn Vineyards, gold and I guess purple platinum upgrade for the vineyards. So, that makes it a little bit worthwhile. And then you've got the older ones. Sunflower oil press, you've got the cider mills, stuff like that. This is another one that's behind condition lock. And then you have really old ones like Golden Crops, the Harvest Farm, Mill of Fall. Please don't build those. Those are not worth it. September Cottage isn't worth it. I didn't even put any of these in my spreadsheet, which I'll show later, because they're just nowhere close to being efficient. This is the 2024 Ascended Selection Kit, so it's not going to give any Ascension upgrades for any of the newer 2025 buildings. It's just for the 2024 buildings. Some of them are still worth it. I think Royal Carriage, Holly Holler, Sled Pup Monument, Jolly Oink Pigsty, stuff like those are still worth upgrading to Ascended. Those, of course, are going to help you out with the Quantum Incursion. Then you've got the new buildings. So one of the new buildings is called an Azalea Arbor. It gives defensive boost for attacking army in Guild Battleground, and attacking boost for defending army in Guild Expedition. Medals, forge points, a little population. The Ascended version obviously is much better. It only takes up a 2x2 space, which is great. It gives a lot of quantum coins, quantum coin production boost, quantum units, and also 20% attack for quantum attacking army. 90 forge points for a 4 square footprint space is really, really good. That's basically going to give it all of its points. And then the other one is called the Amber Bill Pond. Not as good. It's a 6 square footprint, and it gives goods instead of forge points, and it gives supplies. Its boosts are basically flipped. And then the Ascended version just gives more, quantum incursion stuff, obviously. More supplies, more goods. But as you'll see in the spreadsheet, it's not as efficient as the other one. Then you've got other Ascended upgrades. Basically, all these would be for the 2025 buildings, so relatively cheap. I think some of them are worth getting. Another one behind the lock. This is just a like the selection kit you get from the event building. Then you have Vegamon Library or the Harvest Hub or some of the other smaller buildings from past fall events. I think at this point they're getting a little outdated, so they might not be worth it. Then you've got all the heroes, and then, like I said before, some of the extra items. So that's everything that you can get from the Baker stall. In the grand prizes, unfortunately, there's not much difference. The one thing is obviously the Eternal Market, which to this day is still one of the best buildings in the game. I believe you should be able to upgrade to, because right now I'm at the Aquatic Horizon, so if you were able to get up to Cyber Horizon last time, you should now be able to get up to Red Horizon this time, which is over 500 Forge points, which is crazy, along with a bunch of goods and a bunch of boosts. Other than that, on just the normal tier, the free-to-play tier, you get some wooden spoons, you get the event building upgrade, you get some fragments for some people, but I think that's pretty much it. There's just the usual buildings that I just covered. In the silver tier, you get silver upgrade. Golden tier, you get the old golden upgrade for the event buildings. You get a few more fragments. You get a few selection kits. Golden spoons or wooden spoons. Some quantum units. It's pretty much the same thing. It's very similar to the tiers that we've seen in the past. I don't think there's anything new. I don't think there's anything far and beyond, that is like this crazy thing that you're paying to get. I will say the one thing I noticed was the league goes off of the points that you're generating, not the coffee cups that you're collecting, which is good. And of course, the league table does have, some prizes and stuff. They all seem to be almost the same as what you get in the tier and the Baker stall. The 1% building is decent, 250 forge points, 20 fragments for the golden upgrade to the event building, lots of different goods that you have a chance of getting, and a lot of different boosts. So we've gone through all the prizes. Let's take a look real quick at the spreadsheet. So surprisingly, that Azalea Arbor Ascended version is the best building in the event. It has an efficiency score of 137. That 1% tier building is 108. Nothing else is above 100, which is surprising because the Care for Tomorrow event that we just recently finished had 4 buildings above 100, and the summer event had 3 buildings above 100, 2 of them well above 100. So fall 2025 is, in my opinion, lacking. Even a few rows down, and just the Azalea Arbor and that should be pristine sunflower oil press. I mean, you're down in the 40s. I mean, right now that's my cutoff for what I'm building in my city. So a little disappointing. Honestly, I think I might go for the golden version is 85, which is good. Obviously, still good to be built in my city. I actually just noticed that I have the Majestic Autumn Vineyard and the Regal Squirrel Hall. Both of them are still in my city. I should probably get rid of those. And I'll switch them out for something better. So finishing up here, the last thing that I'll cover is your gathering these sacks of flour, and the sacks of flour can buy these special items that you can use in the mini games. I always go for this 1230 option because it's the most efficient use of the sacks of flour. And basically what you're doing with these three things are, with the fork, you can use it on one piece of dessert. Basically just get rid of one piece. The spatula wipes out all pieces in a row. The rolling pin wipes out all pieces in a column. So that's just to help you get as many things as possible next to each other so that you can get these really, really large jars, and you start getting the Mason marks and bigger prizes and stuff like that. If it sounds like I'm tired, it's because I am. Like I said, I don't think this event is really anything great. I'm not quite sure what this whole store thing is going on. We now have 4 stores. We have the Legacy Exchange, we have the event store, and then we have 2 different stores for Guild Battlegrounds, which I'm going to put a video out sometime later this week because that's another thing that I'm just griping about. Um, it it kind of seems like we could have done a different mechanic. We could have come up with something different. I know in the past we were baking different types of desserts and stuff, and it was a little bit more of a thinking game between what ingredients you have to use and how much how many ingredients you have left, and what you can still make and stuff like that. Um, I don't know. As always, let me know in a comment below what you think of this event. I want to hear your opinions. I want to hear your thoughts. Um, Let me know if I've been rambling too long. I know my videos are very much organic these days. I don't write my script out anymore. Do you enjoy that? Should I go back to the script, especially for event videos like this? I feel like maybe having a little bit more structure might be better. Um, but in any case, let me know. Leave something below. That is the end of this video. I'll wrap it up there because I have to finish up this level and I have to finish up a few other things, and then I have to go to bed. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. As always, keep on jamming.